When I was around 7 years old, I got forced to get a haircut by my mom, and I still remember it so much that I cried at the hairdresser. Let's talk about it. Hey there! Today we're gonna talk about a very serious topic, which is dysphoria. In our case, my case, specifically gender dysphoria, and how I experience it. This video is also part of a 2 video part series, with the next one coming in a few days, where I asked you both on Blue Sky and here on YouTube that if you could describe your gender dysphoria, your experience with gender dysphoria in RPG terms, so that other people can understand that. And it was also meant to be a bit of a lighthearted and funny video. That one is coming next. But today, I'm going to talk about my experiences. And when I first came out, when I first found out that I'm trans at the beginning of last year, I was under the impression that I didn't really experience gender dysphoria because, it's a process, okay? It's a process when you first come out. If you haven't known for a long time, when you come out in your 20s, in your 30s, etc., if you didn't knew from a low age. What? A young age. That's the word. A young age. A low age. Anyway, so I have basically gone through my life in my brain and slowly and more realized which parts of my life I should have realized that I was trans, but didn't, because I never had that word in my life. I've never even had the idea of that thing existing in my life. But I do remember so many points in my life where I was like, why am I getting treated differently than girls? Why am I not allowed to do X, Y, and all these things? Why do the clothes look weird? So probably the first time I remember this is I must have been 5 or maybe 6. And one of my sisters was very much into Sailor Moon back in the day. And I was always watch Sailor Moon with her on the TV. Disclosure, my sisters are both 18 years older than me. So she was in her 20s, I was 5 or 6. And we would watch Sailor Moon together with each other. And I remember so many times that I wanted to be a sailor, magical girl so much. Especially Sailor Mercury, the blue one, by the way, with the glasses. And back in the day, they had little merchandise here in Germany for Sailor Moon. It was little books. Maybe if you're old, you remember. Sorry, didn't mean to call you old for knowing Sailor Moon. Anyway, I think there were A6 sized books, really, really tiny books, right? And they had one for each of the sailors, and then they had one for Tuxedo Mask, and I had a few of them. I remember having the Sailor Moon book, the Sailor Mars book, the Sailor Mercury book, and the Tuxedo Mask book. And I still remember so much that one of my sisters was reading them to me. And I always was like, oh my god, I want Tuxedo Mask to get me. He's so cool. And nobody questioned that. It's well, it was totally normal to wanting to be Sailor Mercury and being rescued by Tuxedo Mask, obviously, okay? And then that kind of continued, where I was watching literally every single magical girl show that came onto German TV. There was Doremi, there was Wedding Peach, Pretty Cure, Jane the whatever the thief is called. I always forget how that one is called in English because the German title is obviously German. Was there more? There probably was more later on. There was Winx Club, and my god, I always wanted to be one of the Winxes, right? I wanted to be Bloom, be transforming and stuff like that, right? They had guy characters later on as well, and they were kind of cool, but I never wanted to be one of them. I wanted to be one of the fairies. And let me think, were there more magical? There was Powerpuff Girls, from Western media, Western cartoons. But yeah, there was that. And then a bit later, I must have at this point been 7 because this memory is quite clear. And I don't have that many memories from being before 5. Some people do, I don't. And for the longest time, I was not the person who was allowed to decide when I would get a haircut. And I always liked having long hair. And when I was around 7, I remember that we went to a big mall. And my mom literally forced me. I taught her this when I came out to her, because I still remember so clearly. She forced me to get a haircut, to get it cut short. And I remember sitting there on the chair of the hairdresser and crying. And I think we had to stop for a few moments for my mom to console me. And then, of course, they still continued because, my god, my mom didn't have a clue. So yeah, I'm still angry about that, okay? And then after that, I was kind of allowed to have like middle long hair, but every 6, 7 to 8 months, sometimes 12 months, I was basically made to get my hair cut short. And that kind of left something in me, right? Where I had this feeling deep inside me that I needed to cut my hair, like at least once a year, because that's like appropriate or something. And it took me like a long time to get over that, right? It was only after I realized that I came out, like beginning of last year, I probably had my last haircut like 8 months or something before I came out. And at that point, I decided, no, it's over. I will not cut my hair. I will grow my hair as long as I want. And now my hair is like almost to on the front, almost like to the breast length. And on the back, it's over the shoulder already. So it's pretty long. And I do intend to keep it longer because, my God, I always wanted to have long hair, right? And now I'm doing what I want. So yeah, that's that. Then I remember playing on the playground in the beginning of school, like first, second grade. We were all big into Digimon back in the day because Digimon was like all the hype. And I always wanted to be that. Is she called Angelvomon, right? The cat Pokemon that evolves into the angel-looking Pokemon. I always wanted to play that one. And again, nobody really questioned that. Nobody really said anything because, my God, Digimon was cool, right? Yeah, Anyway, then we do like a big time skip where we have to talk about some things. By the time I was like 6, I got like my first niece because, again, my sisters are pretty much 18 years older than me. So they had their children. And I remember from that age on with like 7, 8, etc. because I got more and more kids. In total, I have 5 nieces and 1 nephew, where I would like babysit them and I would hold these babies and I would have this feeling deep inside me that I wanted to have kids as well. But even like back then as a child, being like 7, 8, 9, I knew that I would not want to have children in the way like a father has children. I wanted to have children in the way a mother has children. Definitely makes any sense, right? Obviously, with like 8 or something, I'm pretty sure I did not know how the whole deal of getting children even worked. But even then, I had like in the back of my head that I wanted to be a mother and not a father, without understanding the concept that that's not how it works, you know? So yeah, that was that. Then we go to... This must be like 5th, 7th, 8th grade. Actually, no, wait. This is from 7th grade onwards, because that's when I changed schools to like a different school for like 7th grade and up. And that was like the time where I like really realized, especially in like the changing rooms for like the school issued sport sessions, that I really, really disliked being in like the same room as naked guys. Like, my God, I didn't like that. So from that point on, from like 7th grade to 10th grade, and then even later in my other educations, I would always go to like a bathroom stall to get changed. Like, again, at this point, I didn't come out to myself. I just knew that I did not like that. So that's what I did. And some people found it weird. But again, nobody really said anything. So it was kind of normal, I guess. That's weird. Okay, why did that? So yeah, that one really like stuck with me out now. And then I remember probably we do another time jump, right? Because like these things I only really found out about after I came out, right? So probably if you ask me again like in a month or 2, I will have other examples from my life where I felt this way. Then when I was done with my 10th class thingy, with my 10th degree, that's not the word, with the 10th class, and got my basic like degree. I think it's the high school thing if we talk USA terms, but like the 10th class was done, I got my degree and had to think about what I want to do now. So I did like a thing to become a physicist. Never really done that, only did it for a year and dropped out. Anyway, but there I like found a good friend. Sadly, we don't have contact anymore, but that good friend was like big time into anime as well. And I remember like talking with him where we had like discussions about like gender bend stuff, and if you could wake up as another gender, if you would, and live with that thing. And that was also the time where I watched like gender bend anime, where I watched stuff like Kashimashi Girl Meets Girl. That was very good. And other things like that, right? And I always really, really, really liked that. And I had like, this was probably the point by the time I was like 18, 19, where I had the feeling more and more and more, where I was thinking, if I could wake up the next day to be a girl, I would. If I could wake up the next day, be a different gender, 100% I would. If I would be reborn into another life, I would. If I could press this button, I would. But again, right? Because at that point, still, the word transgender, the whole concept of it was still not really in my mind, in my world, because that's how sheltered I was, I guess, right? Didn't really make click. It didn't click, even though I had these feelings. Isn't that crazy? That's giga crazy, right? Your mental blockades are super crazy. So that was weird. And I even remember I have 2 very specific situations, which are not even that long ago. When I started my work in the library, which was like 5 years ago, one of the colleagues there I was really close with, and one time we were driving somewhere in her car. I don't even remember anymore, but it was outside of work. We're driving in her car somewhere, and we like talked about all kinds of different things, about her brother, about like mental health and all stuff like that. And at some point I kind of dropped the thing where I feel like I should have been born as a different gender, but yeah, no, you can't do anything about it. But like even she didn't really say anything there. But she did mention that conversation when I later came out to her. But maybe she wanted to give me time to, like, you know, get my feelings together. And I had basically the same discussion with my sister at some point, which was probably like 2 or 3 years ago, where I told her that I'm kind of unhappy how things are, and if I could, I would be like a different gender and stuff like that. And I remember her clearly being like, well, nowadays you can change a lot of things. But again, she didn't say the word trans, she didn't say the word transgender. There was just like a conversation that has happened, right? And she totally 100% forgot about that conversation, because when I came out to her, I told her about that conversation we had, and she was like, what? She was like, what? I said that? And I was like, yeah, baka bish, you did, okay? You did, okay, you did say you said that, okay? So yeah, that was basically all the situations I remember from before coming out, where I had like things where I was not happy with my gender, how I was getting treated. And then, actually, no, there was one more. There was one more that occurred like multiple times in my life, where I would go shopping at the beginning with my mom when I was still tiny, and then later with my sister when we would just both go shopping, and I would like tell her about her clothes, she would tell me about my clothes, etc., etc. You know, just go shopping together. And I was always like complaining, like, why are the clothes in the guys section so boring? Why is there only like 3 colors? Why does it all look like ass? Why are all the shoes black and brown and gray? I don't want that. Where are the rainbow shoes? Where are the yellow and orange and red shoes? I'm sorry, where are they? They were not there. They were not there. And one specific moment that just literally came back to me. I was shopping with my sister probably 2 or 3 years ago. And we went into a shoe store. And there was women's shoes that literally had like very cool rainbow laces. And she was contemplating about if she would want to buy them. And my God, I wanted these shoes so much. I even checked if they had these shoes in my size. I went to the guys section and looked if they have similar shoes there in my size. They didn't. And my God, I remember that like as one of those key moments where I was like, my God, why are my shoes garbage? I want these shoes. And you know what? Later on, like after I came out, I bought like beautiful rainbow pride shoes from, what's the brand? The C brand? My God, Chucks, I think, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I have these shoes now. They're beautiful. I love them. So yeah, now let's talk about, this is a long video, by the way. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about after coming out. So many things where people talk about gender dysphoria are usually body related, right? It can be body dysphoria, gender dysphoria, and they are like, you look at your body, you listen at your voice, and you like really dislike that, right? It's almost like a mental pain kind of deal. That's kind of like spoilers for the next video, how some people describe it as well, where you look in the mirror, and if you have facial hair, for example, or you don't, but you want them, you look at your face and you're like, that's not correct. That's not me. That is weird. And I had that for a long time. Like, I really avoided mirrors. And even before coming out, like, I never really cared about fashion. I just basically got clothes that fit. Sometimes I went like out of my way and wore like a graphic t-shirt with like, I don't know, Kirby on it or Path of Exile on it. That was fancy, okay? That was giga fancy, but most of the time was like black t-shirts or whatever and jeans. Like boring shit, okay? And I never really did anything with my hair and never really did any face care routine, any of those things, yeah? And then I would look in the mirror and be like, that's not me, that's just a person, okay? That's just a body I'm using. It's like weird. And now I understand these feelings, right? Because when I look into the mirror now and I see like my amazing red glasses and I see my face and I see my long hair, I'm like, yeah, that's me, okay? That's me. I like that. And that's basically the thing, right? I am very fortunate, and I talked about this multiple times, where I had like a hormone deficiency, both in growth hormones and later I learned probably in, what's it called? In like sexual hormones as well, like testosterone, where I never really got any of them into my body, so my voice rate never really dropped. And I also like never really got facial hair. Like sometimes I have to do something about my face, but like I couldn't even grow a beard even if I wanted to, right? That's the state I'm in. So I never really had to deal with that. But I had like other things where every time where I had short hair and I would look in the mirror, I would hate that. And then it's funny that after you come out and you realize, goddamn, I'm a woman, I'm a girl. And then I had like moments like I look at my hands, I was like, that one particular hair on my hands, that's not supposed to be there. That's too long. And like, I know it's stupid. Rationally, I know it's stupid because 100% I do know that women have body hair as well. Like women even have hair in their faces. It's like this little peach fuzz that everybody has. And many women even get like tiny beard hairs as well. Like there is like a hormone deficiency where women can grow full as beards, but like many women have like little longer hairs coming out of the chin or whatever. I even have one at work, and honestly, her confidence, insane. She doesn't care about it. Like she doesn't even remove it every single day. It's like, I like this woman so much. But yeah, that's normal. I know deep in my brain that it's normal for women to have facial hair as well, okay? And like to have body hair. But at the same time, I'm like, I need to nuke every single follicle of body hair from my whole body at once. At the same time, I need to get rid of it now, okay? That's the thing. And then whenever I would look at clothes, I'm like, I don't want to wear those clothes. Why do these clothes not come in my size? Why do these clothes not come in like nice colors? And why do these boots are so garbage? But like, thankfully nowadays with the internet, you can almost find anything you really want. And for the opposite of dysphoria, probably gonna do a separate video for euphoria at some point. The first time I painted my nails, and it took me like 4 hours to do it the first time, okay? All the cleanups and everything. I was so happy. Every time I looked down and saw these painted nails, I was so happy. It was undescribable. Listen, it was undescribable. Whoa, listen, back. We go back with the clock. I remember now that one time, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I joked about it with a friend that if we go to the next anime convention, I would go as a Megumin from Konosuba. We never did. We never went to that convention, and I still never cosplayed as Megumin. I'm still gonna do it at some point, okay? I swear to God, I will. But yeah, I was like, I can pull that off. I will do that. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. That's like my experience with gender dysphoria. And I know the experience that I have is not as severe, it's not as bad as many other people have it, but it's still annoying me. Listen, okay, it's still annoying me. And I 100% do understand that some people have it worse, that some people have to suffer more from the gender dysphoria, because it is, in the end, like a mental thing that happens in your brain. And it's different severities for every single person. But just because one person has it worse, one person has it less. And listen, that does not invalidate you. There are trans people out there who are not experiencing gender dysphoria, right? And you can still be trans. And there are probably many other people like me who think they never experienced gender dysphoria, but then after they've came out, after they like had time to process their life in their brains through a different lens, they realize, oh my God, all these moments that were like kind of mildly annoying actually were like way more annoying and were probably gender dysphoria, you know? Okay, anyway, I'm so sorry I hit the microphone. I did not mean to do that. Oh, you're a good girl, or you're a good cutie patootie, or a good night, or a good beans. Anyway, I don't know if there's a bean emoji on phones, on the computer or whatever. But if there is a bean emoji, give me a bone or a bean emoji, honestly, really. I don't care at this point. Give me an emoji, I'm leaving now, bye.